This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we were discussing about some issues that Venkat has faced in that environment, and we're just trying to clarify some doubts on Kerberos. Okay,
Yes, sir.
and okay, so how Kerberos work is in Kerberos. Say for example, if it's an AD based or MIT based. Okay, so mainly we can do two types of deployment. One is Active Directory based, and the second is MIT Kerberos based. So in Active Directory is a suite where it provides LDAP service and Kerberos. So it is having its own built-in Kerberos service provider plus directory service provider. Second option is MIT1. MIT1 is the Unix based, like so we are installing Kerberos alone here. And in that case, the directory service you need to rely on AD or any open LDAP service providers. So actually what is happening in Kerberos? So in Kerberos, you will create a user entity here. So that we call as principal. Any entry or any entry in a Kerberos is called principal. So it can be suppose if you create a new user, so you need to create a new principal corresponding to that. So in case of AD, so you need not to do any double work. The reason is you are just creating the user in AD, so that will create a Kerberos principal also for that. But if you are using in Active Direct MIT Kerberos, see the user provider price, you need to create the user, and in Kerberos also you need to create a principal. Similarly, if you're making or enabling Kerberos to a cluster, so the user one you need to take care, but for all the applications, like all the services inside the cluster, one second, let me just close the windows. I think there are a lot of background, heavy rain is outside. So give me a second.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. What it do is it will create the principal or entry in Kerberos for each service. Say for example, you have an Ambari server. For that, there will be any service like that. There will be a principal created. So you have Hive. So corresponding for Hive user here, there will be a principal created here. So you have any other service like it will create the principal, so that we can see how these principles are getting created. If it is an MIT Kerberos, in the Kerberos terminal, you can see that if it's an Active Directory, you can go to the place or organization unit where you choose for Kerberos enabling. So you have an entry here, right? So if you have an entry means that entry will have a username or principal name and password. So this can be okay in our Kerberos enabling case. So these all are uh, entries for the services. Similarly, you can create the users whatever the user you have, for those users also you can create entry in the Kerberos. So this thing you need to take care. So this for the services or other components. So the wizard will take care. So there will be a wizard that helps you to enable Kerberos in even if it's a Cloudera managed or Hortonworks managed. So you can do. But if you're doing this manual Kerberos enabling, so definitely you need to create this principle. So a principle is nothing but an entry in the Kerberos database. So, but the principle means it can be a user or a service principle, and the principle is having a name, and it's there will be a password. So normally, okay, so you need to do a authenticate using this Kerberos password. So, say for example, you do kinit command for a user. In that time, you type the password. So that password is this Kerberos password. Okay, but in AD case, you don't feel that difference. Only thing is you always using the same username and password credential. But if you are using MIT, so we will just go ahead and install MIT Kerberos and try this. So there will be a password, so you need to authenticate that. So one option is type the password. When you do a kinit, type the password so that you can authenticate. You will get a ticket from this or ticket granting ticket from this Kerberos database. But the problem with the service, say for example, if you have a Hortonworks cluster, you have a Hive service, Ambari service, whatever the service. So while before starting any service or for running that service, you need the ticket from this Kerberos. So normally as a user, we do kinit to get that ticket or ticket granting ticket. But in case of services cannot type the password or cannot the pass the password. So what we will do, so whatever these principles, password and detail, so we will save and encrypt it into a file called a key tab. Okay, so that is called a key tab. I think I don't have a not pad to write here. So key tab is nothing but whatever the password and principal details. So we can do create key tab for our user ID or whatever the services running in our cluster. So key tab is a file which is have contain encrypted password. So instead of using kinit and once prompted type the password, you can use a key tab file to do kinit. In that case, you need not to pass any password. So all the services which is using in the backend or in the cluster will be using key tab file. So you can see some location where it's storing all the key tab file. So during the Kerberos enabling wizard, what it is doing is, so we will take a admin user from this Kerberos database, KDC or KAdmin. So if it's an AD managed, so we will create a user which is having delegated access on whatever the organization unit you choose. But if it's an MIT Kerberos, we choose or we create an admin user into that and use that admin user credential for running this wizard. Then the what wizard will do, so whatever the user principal or whatever the service principal it need to create in Kerberos, it will create that and then get the key tab file, so which is nothing but the password saved in to a file, and that copy that key tab file to this location. So this is what during the Kerberos wizard do. But in simple way, like the wizard will create the principles in Kerberos DB for the whatever the services. Next, it will download that key tab file and do the configuration changes in all the services to use that Kerberos. Okay, so you may be thinking, okay, we are just using Kerberos enabling wizard. That wizard is making use of input as like what is the Kerberos database we are using, what is the ream name we are using, and we need a credential that is nothing but username and password for this admin user. Yeah. Uh, Sorry. Yeah, Venkat, can you please go on mute if you're not talking? Yeah, I think a lot of background noise is coming. Yeah, if you're not talking, so please go on mute. Uh, okay, so basically what this wizard is doing, first it will connect to this Kerberos database and then create the principal for this user principles and get that key type file and to do the configuration changes and to restart the services. So this is what the Kerberos wizard will do. So we can use MIT Kerberos or Active Directory. But in case of MIT Kerberos, you feel like a lot of differences, like you need to maintain a separate entity or separate user created in this Kerberos. But if it's an AD based, you need not to create that. But already, I mean, it will create, but you need not to maintain separate user, like a normal user plus uh, like a Kerberos user. And how this Kerberos work, again, it's a lot of okay, say for example, this is the Kerberos server, and this is a client or anything like so. First, it has to connect this Kerberos server. Say for example, this is your client. You need to use HDFS service. See, this is HDFS service. So if you enable HDFS with Kerberos enabled, so normally if you just try to use without this Kerberos key, you will say like a GSS API exception, the key not found, those kind of error. So if your entire system is Kerberos enabled, so whatever the user trying to use, first to get a ticket granting ticket by connecting to Kerberos. So normally we use kinit command to do that. Okay. So kinit will approach the Kerberos DB and get the ticket granting ticket. And when it's trying to access this, so it will again say, okay, I have this ticket granting ticket, give me a ticket for connecting this HDFS. So it will give that ticket. Then by using this ticket only, he can access this HDFS. So normally we use KNIT. Again, you may be thinking why this is needed entry here, because this is also registered here during the Kerberos enabling and while starting or running the service. So this is also using that key. So what I will do, I'll just deploy an MIT Kerberos and will show you how this works. You will get much more clarity then. But in AD based one, you won't feel any difference like how this is working. But if you do with the MIT one, it will give you much more better clarity. Like so how it's connecting. Okay, so what are the changes it's making? So what is principal? What is ream, etc. So I have this server. So what I'm going to do here is just uh, going to install MIT Kerberos. We can just search MIT Kerberos, then just Hortonworks. So there is a, beautiful blog from uh, Hortonworks on this installation. So how to install and set up MIT. Uh, yeah. So this is the documentation and how to do the installation of MIT. So MIT Kerberos is like an open source or Unix-based implementation of Kerberos server. So first thing, you need to install some packages like KRB5 server, KRB5 libs, and workstation. So if you are using other distribution, you can see the commands that you need to use for this installation. So let's just okay, it's disconnected. Okay, So I'm just installing KRB5 server, KRB5 libs, and KRB5 workstation. So if you don't want to just prompt this yes or no, you can just use -y so that it will accept everything and do the installation of these packages. So we can see, so it's completed the installation of these packages. And next thing we need is, like, we need to edit this krb5.conf vi/etc. So you can install this Kerberos service in the same machine, or you can create a separate machine where you install this Kerberos service. Default ream. So what is your default ream? So in my case, I'm you can just choose this example.com, or if you want to use some other ream name, so you can just use that. So ream is nothing but like that name or similar to the domain name that we use. So here, in case of Kerberos, we use the ream. Okay. So ream is the Kerberos domain name we call. Okay. So what you need to make, you need to have a default domain name, and under reams you have an description like what is your ream name, what is your KDC and KAdmin server, and your detail. So what you need to do here is under reams, just change this examples to hadoop.com, and your Kerberos KDC and admin server. So that I'm just using as this host. This is my host where I am going to set up my uh, KDC and admin server. Okay. So there will be two services running here in this host. One is KRB5 KDC and KAdmin, and this is the host name where I'm just using. And this one, instead of example.com, we can just change to hadoop.com. And this example.com, I'm just changing to hadoop.com. Here also change it to hadoop.com, right? So these are the changes I made. So one is just I have updated default domain, and this all commented. So I just taken that comment and added my domain name and what is my KDC and admin server. So this is the same host where I'm installing. So if you're installing on any other host, write that particular host name and replace that default example.com with hadoop.com. So I'm saving this file. The file name is etc krb5.conf. So next is I need to create an initial database. So for that, I need to use kdb5 util create-s. So this will create an initial database for Kerberos. And it's asking for one password or master key. Type one password. Confirm the same by typing. So now we have set up an initial database. Okay, and k/m at hadoop.com. So this is the principal and that password. So it's saying like so this is very important. Or anyway, we have option to recover even if you lose that, since we have a root access here. And the next thing, we need to start KRB5 KDC and KAdmin. These two services need to be started. So you can just use the systemctl KRB5 okay. Uh, okay, sorry. KRB5. Oh, sorry. I need to use this way. And KAdmin. Because RHL7, the syntax is different. So you can just check the status using systemctl status KRB5 KDC, and KAdmin also you can see, right, and make sure it's both are running. So these are the two services, KRB5 KDC, KDC and KAdmin. So these two services should be up and running. So and also make sure like next reboot onwards the service should be up and running. So you can just use systemctl enable KRB5 KDC, then enable KAdmin. So these two services we are just turn on. And also first thing we need to create a principal admin. Okay, so for that what I'm using is kadmin.local. So if you have the root user where you install MIT Kerberos, just use kadmin.local. Then you got the console for MIT Kerberos. You can just use the list underscore principal. There are a lot of commands, so it will be listing what are the principles available, and you can create. So you can use add print, then admin slash admin. So this portion you can ignore because by default it will be always appended with the hadoop.com. So I'm just creating, and once prompted type its password. Retype the password. So now if I use the list underscore principles, you can see admin slash admin hadoop.com. So this is the user account which I created. So I need to make this user account as a global administrator or any a slash admin user. So for I can quit from here. So this is the Kerberos console. Like you can just use the kadmin dot local. I whatever the I did is like so this is not recommended way because this one we are just entering without password, and also for that you need root credential. So if you don't have the password, what you do? So kadmin -p, what is the principal name? Uh, so whatever the user we created, admin slash admin, and it's asking for the password. So the problem is it doesn't have the privilege. So you can connect to the Kerberos console using any principal you have created using this option kadmin -p, what is the principal name, and then enter. But you need to provide ACL or permission for this, right? So for that, what you need to do here is, so you need to set this admin user as admin for this Kerberos. For that, there is like ACL file. So KRB5 K kadm5.acl. So this file, I don't know where is this. So find star.acl, right? So if you don't know like this, where this ACL file is located, you can just use. So var kerberos krb5kdc.acl. Just open this file. Let's use, see, star/admin at example.com. In our case, it's a hadoop.com. So what I'm just using here is, so this is the ACL file which define who all are having what privileges. Basically an ACL file which tells what permission we can assign to what user. So again, there are a lot of permission option or set available, and which user, this is just a username. Star/admin means any name followed by /admin@hadoop.com. So it can be admin/admin@hadoop.com or kadmin/admin@hadoop.com, which is having star. So star represents the complete access. Again, here we can list what are the permission we need. List to create like that. So star means everything. So I just added admin user with full privilege. Is this clear? So first step what I did is I just installed these packages krb5 server, then libs and workstation. So these three packages as installed using yum utility and updated krb5.conf file, and some changes I made is like added the default domain, default ream, then changed something like this kadmin and krb server, and updated those details, then created the initial database using kdb5 util create. So S stands for silent mode. So here also you have like some customization option, but this is more than enough. Then started these services. Then you can turn on these services so that the next reboot onwards the service will be up and running, because the problem is if you restart the server, so entire services, if it's not available, our cluster won't work. Then once that is done, so what I did is, so I created a user. So you can use kadmin.local or just use kadmin.local. So if you have root access, you can create that and to create a principal. So I created admin/admin@hadoop.com. So this is same as admin/admin@hadoop.com. Then I set this ACL kadmin find.acl, then added that. Then once that is done, I need to restart this kadmin. Okay, then only I will have. I just updated the ACL, but even if I updated ACL and try to connect, and after this, see if I just use the list underscore principles, it won't show because I have updated the ACL and I have not made any uh, change or restart to the service. You can use the systemctl restart kadmin. So now if I connect using this principle and type the password, now list underscore principles, so you can list. I can create the principle using the create, I think create, not create, add a principle. You can just use whatever the principal name, or it will ask principal name. Okay, see here I need to use abcd@hadoop.com, or @hadoop.com you can skip, because so that domain will be appended by default. Again, still I am using that. So it will prompt you to type the password, type the password, and again to confirm that, retype the same password. Now if you just use the list principle, you can see abcd is also created. So this principle means an entry in a Kerberos DB. Like if we are just creating a user in a database or user in a directory. So this entry is called principal. So this every principal might have a password. So that is used for authenticating with the, this Kerberos. Now I'll show you another thing. Let me quit. So we know the principal for or password for admin or whatever the domain. So if I just use the k list, I don't have any key. If I just use the k in it, admin at admin/admin, right, at hadoop.com, then it's prompting a password. So basically this is the password that we set in the Kerberos database. So type the same password here. Now if you type klist, you can see you are getting a ticket granting ticket from the Kerberos database. In this case, this is a Kerberos. Okay, so now you got a ticket granting ticket. Basically, while doing a K in it with your name and ream name, so it's trying to approach this MIT Kerberos server and getting a ticket granting ticket. So where this is getting this domain name and all, so you might have a file like, even if you are using the client machine, you will have a file like krbfile.conf. So this contain details like which is your admin server and KDC server. So in our case, this is the server and Kerberos client is same. So if you are using another client, so you need to use this file over there. And while doing K-init, it's approaching the Kerberos DB server and get that ticket and or ticket granting ticket. So it can use this ticket granting ticket. So what I used is like I created an admin/admin at hadoop.com, and which is available in the Kerberos database and which is having a super user privilege. And I can just connect to the database kadmin-p admin/admin. So this is also fine because uh, okay. So I think 2p is here. I don't want this. Type the password. I'm getting this list principle. It will list. So what wizard will do when we enable the Kerberos? Okay, it will create the principle for the users, or user in the sense for what are the services it's running here. Like we have Ambari. For Ambari, it will create for Hive, HDFS, and MapReduce. Again, whatever the different components available over there, and it will create for that. Then let me just 1 second. So timeline server. Yeah, node manager is having issue. I don't know why. If the services. Okay, now what we are going to do here is we're just trying to enable Kerberos for this using this MIT Kerberos timeline server. Okay, so this require H based service to be available. That is maybe the reason it's getting failed.
Very good.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rajesh.
Yeah.
So whatever thing to discuss, taking them when we don't do Kerberos, by default, when we do export Hadoop.
Right.
So if we don't do export that thing, so because Hadoop by default gives a security layer, isn't it?
Correct.
So when we do export a name Hadoop, then it will pretend that this is coming as SDFS, and then
Correct.
it will
Correct.
let us create the directories or the files, etc. Isn't it?
Right. Right.
But sometimes I have seen that even though we have created directories, etc. When we create Hive table, it doesn't let us create Hive table.
Okay. Even with this permission in place. I mean,
Even
I mean without Kerberos, and you are just using export option,
yeah, yeah,
right?
plain, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Then I think if I remember correctly, we had to do I think chain ownership of the directory. Then it let us create it.
Okay. 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 So let me. I think this require HBase service. So let me just go ahead and add HBase. And also for that Hive or Hive permission and all. So better use either Sentry or Ranger,
Hmm.
so you can control that permission. So anyway, in the production, it's always recommended to use with the proper security in place. Oops, I don't know why. Oops. I don't have a proper disk space here. Around few MBs only. Let me just see whether I can. Is there any option to add extra space or something? Because it's the one which I deployed using this wizard, Ansible one, and okay. So let me just see from the back end, is there anything I can?
Can't you add another new disk, a small disk possibly, if you can't extend it?
Yeah, we'll see whether from here. I don't know which one is this one is using. Oops.
It says September 8. you created it. So process is it if it created you created today, it
Today,
will be
right?
the second one.
This one, middle one, right?
Yeah. Can you modify volume? The first one.
Yeah. Take time for performance, so you need to extend.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Ashish.
Yeah, we'll see. It's not showing here.
I think it's in. Let's go. Oh yeah, it's came back. Yeah, it's showing 50 GB.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's just connect to the terminal and see whether we have space here. No.
No. So what I think what we need to use
Maybe.
F disk.
Uh, yes.
We won't get it. We need to use F disk.
Sorry. Or restart will give us,
No,
or
I doubt.
partitioning.
We need to do it.
Here it's showing. Oh, here it's showing
Yeah.
53 gig.
Yeah. So we need to go do F disk.
But because we need to expand this volume, I don't
Yeah.
know whether anything.
I had same
Request.
situation, so I had to do that one.
Oh, but for if I just create fdisk, you can increase this one,
Yeah, you can create this one as well.
or creating a new partition and mounting.
No. You can increase the root. See, if you can see, this is root, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, you can do that one as well, or you can Google it as well.
Fdisk.
Yeah. So there'll be if you do M, there'll be I think a N or something. Add a new partition or toggle it.
N for new partition, right? Edit. Toggle create and
Do a simple Google. I think there is. I don't have my that PC at the moment, but I had notes written down because I struggled on that one a lot.
Okay, yeah, this is showing 50 now, right? Grow part and then partition size. But I think,
The grow part is like, yeah, AWS command, is it?
yeah, grow part. I am not sure, like it's a Linux command or a,
This one. This is XFS, yes.
this one.
Yeah. No, or the bottom one, I think. Do we have XFS Pro?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I don't have it seems. Okay, -d. Okay, we just need to increase the slash. Right. I think, yeah, that is resolved. Okay, I'll 1 second. Let me just note down the commands that we used.
So this one grow part, because I never knew that you
Yeah,
can do
yeah,
grow part.
yeah. Grow part is the one. Then resize to FS. Then third command is install. Then
Re, so this resize to FS is for different type of file systems. The one we are using
oh,
which is XFS, so we don't need the middle one.
need not okay. Resize to FS is for LVM, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Oh, okay. What we were doing is like H based installation, right? Yeah. Yeah, I can send you this list to you also right away. So only thing, one thing you need to make sure, like before enabling Kerberos is like all the services are available up and running. So health status is everything looks good. Then you can start deploy this.
Sujesh,
Yeah.
nowadays, what is happening, so I thought I'll quickly chat.
Mm.
No, I think conceptually, I think big data, I'm not seeing lot many jobs or not that hype at the moment. It's all going down.
Right, right. So nowadays, cloud and DevOps, I think in India mainly. So
Yeah.
lot of hearing so I'm also have the plan to do a lot in AWS and GCP. So Azure I have experience. So I have one more friend along with him. So we are just sort of doing this AWS and DevOps, all those things.
Mm. So I had
Because
done, I did my DevOps training probably 2, 3 years ago. And there's a
uh,
very good guy, Imran Taylor.
uh,
He did a book as well. And he is quite good, but I don't remember if he's still around or what he does. But, but yeah, that's true
mhm.
actually. But people will be still using Hadoop, isn't it? But I think it could be the focus is
Using,
going
but
towards EMR.
uh, yeah, mostly everywhere so there is, uh, I think some client even I have seen so they just adopted the Hadoop even though they really don't need. Like a new technology is coming, they are picking up and doing that.
Hmm.
But I don't know like whether they really need that because everyone is afraid like if you are not using this, okay, what will happen to next? The companies are worried. Like sometimes they have very, I mean, a small amount of data, but still they are using Hadoop. But
Hmm.
some really need. And nowadays, like everywhere, they have a plan to use this cloud and this one DevOps. Anyway, like earlier, also people are using,
Hmm.
but now I can hear a lot of news and some. I don't know whether it's like a hype, just only hype or really. But from the job opening wise, for the cloud and DevOps, yes, I could hear a lot. Because again, in these three, a lot of things are there. That is the main challenge. I mean, for
Yeah.
us to learn, Hadoop means if you just uh, learn one or two flavor, like at least one Cloudera or Hortonworks, one you are good, and the remaining just uh, like peripheral understanding you will get. But here the problem is like if we go to the cloud itself, a lot of things are there. Again,
Hmm.
Google Cloud, so a lot of components are there, and AWS lot of components are there. So challenge is to learn all this. And again, DevOps like a single term, and under that umbrella, n number of tools.
Lot
So
many. True.
if you learn Puppet, then they will ask for Ansible. If you are Ansible, then they will ask for Chef like that. So at least one, okay, we can learn. That is fine. But again, that is there. Git is there.
Hmm.
So learning also a bit challenge. Like you need time to learn.
Absolutely.
But the problem is like if we are not changing again, the later, I mean, those who are doing it early will get a lot of benefit.
Absolutely.
So
But this is with the IT, this is the thing. If you jump early in the boat, then you get all the cream.
right, because it's a part of survival also. Because otherwise, I don't think upcoming without hardcore technologies, we cannot survive. Everywhere, like the people are moving to cloud because they are also a bit concerned about the cost and other
But to be honest,
factor.
cloud is not cheaper either. They charge left and right.
Right, right. Initially, they will give a lot of offer, then they will charge
But
a lot.
absolutely, this is what
Yeah.
happening at the moment because of AWS started and AWS has earned a lot. Now Azure is coming picture. Azure is giving offers left, right, center, and you can see Azure graphs is going up, 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 up because Azure is headed by Thomas Kurian, who was the face behind Oracle database. That's how Oracle database got really popular. He's Desi guy,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh,
Thomas Kurian. If you search it, so he joined Azure,
oh, okay, okay.
and
Uh-huh.
now in last 1 year, you can see where Azure is going.
Right, right.
Others
So
are completely,
they are mainly penetrating at the management level, and those layer is pushing this product like that.
yeah,
But actually, if we compare technically, there are a lot of challenges in Azure. Like
yeah,
most of them are in
absolutely.
the preview mode. I was working for 1 year in Azure. Like
Mm,
if one tool or something, if you work, then after 1 or 2 months, the same code will not work because for automation and all, we create and develop some code. So that
yeah.
won't work after 5 or 6, or even at least the next month they will change. Okay, they will say, okay, that was in preview, they just changed. So the people who are supporting are really challenging. Like maybe that will be stable in a couple of years. But AWS, like if they have some product that is stable, and I mean, you don't need to worry. But the marketing, the way Azure, I mean, most of the companies they have tie up with Azure, so they
Mm.
are always pushing Azure.
That's what, as if they are pushing left, right, center because that's a marketing strategy.
Yeah. But only thing is for us, we are forced to learn all these three, like major Azure AWS, I mean Azure AWS and Google Cloud, because
GCP, GCP
yeah,
hasn't got the full strength yet. They are still struggling.
right, they are still struggling, but they are also like I think you can say third or that first is like I don't know now AWS or Azure, so
Mm.
AWS Azure and GCP next to that.
That's
But
right.
only the one thing is like you are learning Hadoop one cloud. If you are good, then you can compare and study the tool easily.
True, true.
But, okay, let me just take 5 minutes break and I'll write back. So while this is getting started, you can also take a 5 minutes break. Hello?
Oh,
Yeah, right. So now all the services are looking good and up and running. So now let's enable Kerberos using this MIT Kerberos. So what we did is we just set up an MIT Kerberos. So install the packages, created an admin account, and give complete access. So let's just try to connect that and see. So you can just use a kadmin -p. What is the principal name you created and your rename. So you can connect to this domain from any host in the network. So only thing is you have your etc krb5 updated with those details. And once prompted, you can type the password. So this is the password for this admin user. So there are a lot of commands you can use. The list principal will list what are the principles available. So now let's run the Kerberos wizard. So here you have an option. Just go ahead and hit enable Kerberos. So proceed. And you can see a couple of options like Active Directory, IPA, and manual. So we are just choosing MIT1. And the prerequisites, Ambari server and cluster host has access to MIT, right? So credential, JCE. So if we use the Oracle or just open JDK, so no need to do this JC. Otherwise, you need to install Java cryptographic extension. So this case, we have already done. Otherwise, you need to download and install that JCE. So this is something like just get those jar file and keep it into some location. Go ahead and hit next. So this page will prompt you to type some details like KDC host, rename, domain name, and all. So KDC host is this host name. So what is the host name here? This one. Take that host. And rename is hadoop.com. So I don't have any domain, but still we can just say it's hadoop.com and test the connection. And even if you are not using the domain, the connection will work. Okay, you can ignore this because we don't have any domain created. Then kadmin host. So that is a host we are using for KDC and kadmin, the same host. Admin principal is admin/admin at hadoop.com and whatever the password. So password for this admin user. Retype the password. So the wizard is using this user, which is nothing but an admin user in MIT Kerberos. You can see here and create some principle for all these things. So you have an option to save this so that I think I don't know Ambari is not configured for saving. So I think we need to do in the backend for saving this. Otherwise, whenever you create a new uh, application or anything, if this is not there, you need to pass its credential. So some options are there like what are the type of encryption it's supported, where this is located, and all these things you can leave it as default. And next. So this will install some client in the server, and it will test whether that client is okay to connect. You can see the detail like what it's doing. Uh, just creating maybe it's something like the admin principle we have passed is correct. Like you can see in the detail, it's like creating the principle and creating the key tab and checking that key tab and then finally removing that. It's just a test operation, and we can hit next. That will do the actual configuration. So you can see, like I said, there will be some key type file for all the services. Since if it's a multi-node installation, so okay, so you have this directory on all the hosts, and you can see the key type file generated. Now, if you look here in this our host, okay, it's a single host setup. Nothing is there. So it will create the principal and download the key tab here, and the rename and other detail you can leave it as it is. And how the name I mean the key tab file looks. Okay, the smoke user, this is the test user, and service principal, like this is the name. It will create the username. Ambari server key tab, Ambari HBase headless, all the key tab name and other details are here. And you have an option for advanced one, like for HDFS, what is the key tab looks like. Okay, what is the principal name, all the details are here. And for every service you can choose the default one, so that it will use the default naming standard. And if you want to change that, you have option to do here. So what I'm saying here is, when we run this deployment here, okay, so you can see list principles. So it's, these are the principles we created, right? So, or sometime during the installation it created. Now we will run this wizard. So you download that, or exit wizard option is here. Hit next. So during this step, so it will try to stop all the services in the cluster. So once the services are stopped, then create the key tab and create the principal in the Kerberos. That will be happen in the next phase. So this state, it's stopping all the services. Let's give some time to do this. Okay, stopping is completed. Then hit next to continue. So you can see the preparing operation. So then you can see creating the principal. So during this phase, if you just see list principal, so whatever the principal listed earlier, so apart from that, you can see a lot more principal are getting created. So some are for, like you can see the yarn on this host, right, at hadoop.com. So the service name or service component name slash the host name at rename. So you can see the list will grow based on the number of components or number of services available here. And once that is done, it will create the key type file. So like I said, the key type file will be stored into this location. You can see all the key type file like Ambari server. So if I just use the klist hyphen kt slash etc key tab, sorry, slash etc security key tabs, this one. I don't have the permission, so I need to switch to root user. Okay, see Ambari key tab. So if I just use the klist hyphen kt, see Ambari server training at hadoop.com. Here you can see Ambari server training at hadoop.com. Yeah, the principal is created here. Similarly, for every principal created here, and those are available or running in this host. In case of multi-node, so we have different server, and it will create those key tabs which are related to those machine. So that will store in that location. So you can use klist-kt, the key tab name, to list the principal name. Now back to here. So it's configuring this and distributing key tab and finalizing operation. Next is like starting the service using this key tab. So basically what it does is, so the wizard, we have given the input like Kerberos server details and other details, then admin principal and other details, and we have submitted. So the wizard has created the principles for the services running on this cluster. So you cannot see all the principles, like so there are some principle missing, in the sense like those components we have not installed, like Spark is not there, then Hive is not there. So those will get added here when we add those services. So that time, during that time, you may need to pass this Kerberos admin credential to create that. Everything this wizard will take care. And then what wizard do, make some configuration changes in the backend to use this key tab file or Kerberos while running. In that case, now if I mean turn off my Kerberos service, the entire cluster will not work. I think service start is in progress. You can see what all are the services which is starting. So name node, it's going to start. So normally the name node start will take some time, like it's in the safe mode, and it has to wait all the blocks are okay and everything, and then only start. So after that you can see most of the it will go quickly, like HP is master. So far it's good, and resource manager, secondary name node, timeline server, and all the services, it's starting, and it's using the new configuration which is with the Kerberos enabled. So basically it's creating entries. Okay, now the Kerberos is enabled. So now let's just try this option with the send files. Okay, so if I just use hdfs dfs-ls slash. So normally the read access is for everyone, but you can see GSS API exception, like cannot authenticate by Kerberos. So what I can do here, like even if I do to switch to or if I just switch to HDFS, so this command won't work. Uh, uh, okay, I think HDFS is having this key tab generated for this, maybe for testing and all. So we will have to wait until this is finished. Then you can see you won't have that. So basically what I'm trying to say here is like, so even if you have the HDFS user by default, you won't be able to run this command. This is running because we have maybe it's doing some testing in the backend. So HDFS, DFS, If I just use export Hadoop underscore user underscore name equal to HDFS, that is also not working. So what I need, say for example, if I need to have this CentOS to access this service, what I need is I have two options. One is get some key type file for kinit, or from here itself I can do a kinit. So I can just use a kinit. I have admin user, right? Admin slash admin at this also you can use, or kinit, whatever the key type also you can use. Just to type the password, you should know the password. Now if you do klist, you have the ticket granting ticket for this user. Now if I do hdfs dfs -ls slash, you can see that the directory is listed here, right? So this is completed, and we have option to regenerate the key tab. So that is nothing but like, so recreating the key tab file from the uh, Kerberos DB, and that will be stored under this location. Okay, so we'll back here. So what we are going to do, so here we are able to do, because we just do a kinit with admin. So you can just see klist. See, I can just destroy this k destroy, and now if I do klist, nothing is there. And if I do hdfs dfsls, so I'll have a permission issue. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to create this CentOS user in our Kerberos. So what I can do is just connect to this Kerberos and create that user. Then k admin -p admin slash admin, right? Once prompted, type the password, then add underscore principal. I'm just typing CentOS. Once prompted, type the password, retype the password. That's it. And you can see list underscore principals, that CentOS is also here, right? So now here I can do kinit, just kinit. It will type the password for CentOS. So this is in the MIT Kerberos. Type that password. Then you can see you have a ticket from the ticket granting ticket from the Kerberos. So in AD case, if your user is connected with AD, or your system is connected with AD, or AD integration is done, so you need not to do a kinit again. So whenever you do the login, by default you will get a ticket granting ticket that you can use. Now if I use hdfs dfs -ls slash, you will have at least a read permission, even though you have a write access. So all these directories are owned by some other user, right? So next is, how do we get super user access? Like, you cannot create the user like hdfs dfs slash user. I can just try to create CentOS. Mostly this won't work. So what we normally do is, so here we have the klist ticket granting ticket from HDFS. So what you need to use, okay, you may not need to go to the this user. So what you need is, there will be a key type file for HDFS. So this is the one option. Okay, so copy that key type file, etc security key tabs. There will be like something like HDFS headless key type. Copy that key type file to some location. Okay, so if you want to give the super user privileges to one user, you can share this key type file. This is the one option. But mostly if you have a ranger in place, you can have the method like you can choose administrator separately. So this key type file, I can just check what is the principal name. you're just using klist-kt, that principal name. So this is the principal name in Kerberos. You can do, first you just check klist and see what is there anything. So just do kinit -kt, this file, and principal name. Okay. So klist-kt, this keytab file, and this principal name. Now you can see you have we have something like HDFS training, which is a keytab file for this HDFS user. Now if I should be able to dfs mkdir/user, this will work because I have a super user access. Now HDFS dfs, you can see this CentOS user is also here. I can just use HDFS dfs ch on, then CentOS. So also I can try this, and
Hold
I
on,
can go.
please. Hold on. So
Yeah.
why do we need to give a super user privilege to create the directory? We could have created
No.
directory when logged in as CentOS, couldn't we?
Sorry.
So when we logged in as CentOS user,
Mm.
yeah, and then we did
Yeah.
K in it, that means we got the ticket granting ticket TGT.
TGT for CentOS only.
Correct, yeah, CentOS only, yeah. And that
Yeah.
time
But
we could
mm,
create we could have created a directory, or
no.
why we need
No.
to
Yeah, I'll tell you because this will have the okay. Now this is the CentOS one, and we have a ticket granting ticket for CentOS.
correct, yes.
So CentOS is not an admin user for HDFS. Or if something you need to write with the CentOS, that should be owned by CentOS. Now it's having read access. So if I just use dfs ls slash,
Hmm.
and here you can see user is owned by, again if I just use the slash user, you
Yeah.
can see uh, only this directory is owned by CentOS. So here I can do like hdfs dfs mkdir, something I'm just doing, so it should work. But
Yeah.
if I do it on other directory like slash user kk or something, but
Hmm.
the slash user is owned by HDFS, not the CentOS. Now, right now I have with the CentOS ticket, granting ticket. So
Yeah.
definitely it will fail. So I can use the CentOS also, like what I can do is just a destroy and get that keytab file. What I can do is I can
So,
share this
so
keytab file to CentOS user.
yeah.
Like
So
what I'm doing
so
is,
what did we do to make it admin?
this is just a workaround, I can say.
Yeah.
For admin,
Hmm.
I just gave this key tab and just use CentOS. One option you can have, like in worst case, you have something like a ranger permission issue or something, and you want you have the root password, but you don't have a ranger entry. So in that case, as a workaround, you can get this HDFS key tab file from /etc security key tabs and
Yeah.
check this what is the name and all. So klist -kt, and now you can use kinit -kt, this one, and write the principal name. Now if you will see, we are HDFS training, which is nothing but HDFS user, HDFS headless GitHub. So now if I just use HDFS dfs -mkdir slash user, whatever the thing should be able to do, because technically we are with the CentOS, but still we have the ticket granting ticket for HDFS. So
So
basically we got the key tab.
what happens in real scenario then when if we are using AD, the way we do it, how are we gonna get the admin privileges? Will that something?
No,
Uh,
AD also work the same way. Like
yeah.
in ETC security key tab, we have the HDFS user. Okay, now I'll show you.
No, absolutely, that's
So
true.
what it do?
In case of AD,
Yeah,
we'll get all the key tabs. True, absolutely. But
yeah,
is that
yeah,
is
yeah.
that something? we gonna do this, copy this file, or is it Ranger will give us this facility?
You can copy from this location, etc security key tabs. Okay, so
Yeah.
this location will have the key tab file. From there, what you need is HDFS headless key tab. So this is a HDFS user key tab file, and you can do kinit with this. So kinit with this means technically it's equivalent to switching to HDFS user and getting its ticket granting ticket from the Kerberos. So this file will be the same if it's AD based or MIT based. Only thing is the backend Kerberos where it is hosted is different. In that case, it will be running in AD server, which is Windows server. In this case, it's running in actual user. There will be a user that you can just use klist-kt and that kt file. You can see the actual user or principal name. So this is the principal name that it got created inside the Kerberos server. It can be AD or something. So what I mean to say is this is just a workaround. You have got the root access, but you don't have the permission like your user. Since even though you are an admin user, you don't have the permission. You want to do something as a workaround. In that time only you can copy this file and do that like HDFS headless file. In actual scenario, so we have something like permission setting option. Here we have a ranger in place. So where you can set who all can have access, like under slash, we can give the full access, not the this one HDFS this permission. So where in the graphical option you can set the permission. I will show you that in the next class when we discuss Ranger.
Then
Okay,
we don't need to
so
copy this GitHub over.
nothing, no, nothing is needed. So
Yeah,
that
that's
will work
all.
in as yeah.
Yeah, this is
So
where I
that
was.
is that is the way most people work in a real enterprise level because sharing this file is not a good option. So we will keep this file under read only for the root user under this location. And again, if you just see the permission detail, you can see it should be read by only that owner. So no one else. Okay, only root and that owner should be able to. So this file should have kept under high security area because if anyone get this file will can have that access. Okay, but normally we don't share, like sharing to the user is something like a security threat. So what we will do if or she need a access, we can control that from the ranger. But as I said, this is just a workaround. If you have a scenario where you are forced to do, then only do this. Otherwise, use the ranger based option. We had something like some issue like the ranger was not syncing and everyone lost that admin access. Then what we did, like from root user, so use this file to keyinit and change some permission if it's really needed or something which is urgent. That way we can use. Otherwise, we can use everything through ranger where you have a centralized option to control the permission. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So all right, then we will wind up for now. So I'll upload this video and yeah, please try to practice. And also this link also where I used for this one, I think I can share you. Okay. Please try to install and practice.
Yeah, okay, Sajesh.
All right, yeah, we will wind up for now and we'll see next week again. The next Saturday, I will be traveling back to Cochin. So next Saturday won't be available. Sunday we can have.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you, sir.
right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.